So another show that's caught my attention this season is Bubuki Buranki. Hope I'm saying that name right, but this show, for first episode, it definitely caught my interest, which is why I'm making this video. And this show was like on my radar when I was like looking up anime for this season. And like after watching the first episode, it definitely earned the right to, of course, get a first episode review, but to also give off my first impressions. Hopefully this video won't be too long, but there are definitely some things I do want to talk about. Now the characters, we have our main characters who was we have what's the name? What's the name? I just watched the anime. We have Azuma and his sister. Now, Azuma, he's our boy, and of course, this guy comes off as like somewhat of a coward because this guy is the big brother, but like mainly his like little sister is like bossing him around. And right now, her name actually escapes me because we see now that like after this little time skip, we have not seen sister at all. So I do wonder what in the world happened to her. Hopefully she didn't die because that right there would be, just like so messed up. But like even now when I'm looking at the poster image for the anime, I don't see sister in it, so that right there definitely raises a red flag. But for some reason, to me, I definitely don't think that I definitely don't believe that like his sister would be dead. To me, that right there would be like kind of messed up. But we see now that like his sister, apparently these two, have this power. We have no idea what the depth of it is, but apparently his sister, she can make like this beautiful, red looking orb. And we also saw how like she can make it grow to a rather large size. And then we see now that when Azuma tried to do it, we see at first, he thinks that he actually can't do it, but we see now that like his ball, it was actually, on top of his head, but for some reason his ball didn't actually, last for that long. But apparently now, these two children, they go to where like some kind of like giant mech is, and we see now it's like covered in moss. So obviously it had not been used in like some time. And so we see now that while they're like messing around on it, it actually opened up a hole in their chest, and we saw those two get like swallowed up. And then we go to like some man that was like fishing, and we see now that, like out of nowhere something called like this huge like not a tidal wave, but obviously something caused a big enough impact to rise the water up. But this guy, he actually showed no fear and like told whatever it was to like go away, because otherwise he might scare off the fish. And so right now, right now we see now that when things calm down and he have all the fish in his bucket, we see him going home, to where he live, obviously. And so we see now that this guy, he's actually the father of Azuma and his sister. And so we see, that they were all playing around having a good time. And then we see now that their mother actually appeared. And so their mother name was like, Migi was something like that. But obviously, their mother, like these kids definitely love their parents, but it's obvious that they get, close to their mother a lot more. And so we see now, they're all having a good time because, it was actually their birthday, and both of them turned 6 today because obviously, they're actually twins. And so we see now that while they were like playing around, because Azuma actually bought the candles and his sister couldn't do any, she got mad, started attacking him. But while they were like eating dinner, we see now, that like something was like causing, kind of like something was causing like an earthquake to happen. And so we see now that the kids knew what it was. It was a Buranki. And so we see now that these Buranki, they were like these giant mechs that were like walking around, but apparently they were all sleeping. So obviously, they were like doing sleepwalking. And so we see now that their mother, she actually made some kind of like spear, and we see that like she was going to attack it. But when the Buranki actually, fell and collapsed, she actually, made that spear go away. But apparently, they do sleepwalk, and apparently, she had told their kids to never awake them, because obviously that right there would be like pretty bad. And so right now that following night, their mother, like her body is like reaching her limit. So obviously she's like definitely pushing herself to either keep these Buranki in check or to make sure that, they cause no harm. And so right now her husband was like, he wished that like he had the power that, that she had and her kids had, because obviously he could help them. But of course now with like her mother getting weaker and weaker, because her body, like I said, is definitely suffering like a massive strain using his power, she was like, maybe it's time to like train their kids so that way they could be like the next generation. And it's possible that, if they master their power and they can do this, then obviously they can take over her. And so we see now that the following morning, Azuma's sister, she was now gone because she overheard her parents talking. And so right now she want to use Tamek, the Obu, because obviously that right there could keep the other Buranki in check. And so right now, Azuma knew right away, where she was going. And so, of course, he was like going after her. And so we see now she was like trying so hard to use the Obu, but apparently she could not get it to work. But then we see her powers, they were like going into like some kind of like cube she was holding. And so then we see now that when her brother came, he was like trying to stop her. And obviously, obviously she not want to stop because she not want her mother to die. And so then we see now that when she forcefully used her powers on this cube, and we see her now hitting it against the Obu, that right there had caused all the Buranki to actually come awake. And so with the now all being awake and aware, obviously that right there was definitely not a good situation. And so now we have the parents looking for them, and when they finally found their kids, they had to make the ultimate sacrifice where they sent her husband and the kids, down to earth, while their mother stayed there to like fight against the Buranki. And so we see now that the mom, she like definitely has like some awesome powers, because we saw her first flying up into the air, and then we see her using her powers to actually make an opening, and like some kind of ship they were in, or it was like some flying like space rock, or like whatever we want to call it. But she had made this opening in there where the mech, the Obu, was like able to fall down to earth. And so we see now that when it landed on earth, it like fell into the ocean. And then, like we have no idea what happened to their mother, because, that right there was like the last time we saw her. But now we get this time skip of like 10 years later, and we see now, that Azuma, he's definitely a lot older, and we see him now running. And we see that, there were like these men after him. And so apparently, this right here is like, this series form of coppers. And we see them, taking hold of Azuma, like catching him, obviously. And apparently this guy is known as the Witcher's son, because now, 10 years later, you would think his mother would be, like known as a hero, and, and leave, a positive, name in the world. But no, she actually hated and called a witch. And so right now, that right there definitely ticks, Azuma off, because he was like always defending his mother. And so then we see that like some girl named Kogani, she was actually, waiting for Azuma to show up, and when he never did, she definitely got worried, and then she actually saw him in the police car, and that right there definitely like worried her. And so right now we see that while while Azuma was like, being questioned about his mother, apparently they want to know where the Bubuki heart is, because they all know that Azuma obviously came from the Obu, and apparently that right there really like messed with the world, apparently. And we even see now some guy was like holding some kind of ceremony, and then we see like these five, and then we see that these 5 individuals that obviously stand up above the rest. And so apparently, like these guys definitely hold a very high ranking power. And so we see now that, Azuma, he definitely wasn't questioning them. And that right there was like, really making you guys mad. And then we see now that, one guy was like going off using his like nightstick to actually mess up one of the pictures of Azuma and his family. And so then out of nowhere, we see now that this like fire pillar, just come from the ground, and that right there was awesome. And so we see that that's the thing that like made this fire. It was like some kind of hand, and we learn now that this hand thing is like called a Bubuki. And so apparently Bubukis, they all come from like parts of Burankis. And so apparently this right here was the hand of a Buranki, and from the power that it showed, it definitely earned that title. And so now with like Azuma free, thanks to what's the name, Kogani, they were like able to escape from the prison. And so then we see now that like there were like the two guards outside, but they were like dealt by the girls who had swords, and it's definitely safe to assume that both of them that their weapons are Bubukis. And so right now, this red-haired girl who's definitely in charge, she was told about, what happened, about the breakout. And so right now, her and her men, they were like going to handle it. And we see now that when they were leaving, we have, everyone bowing to them. And then we have the guy who was like doing the ceremony, he had called them, monsters. And so now we have one guy, right now we have one guy talking to Ryoko, who's the leader, and this guy actually wanted to handle it. Now, right now, I cannot think of his name, but this guy, to me, his character design, it was like definitely awesome. But right now, he actually wants to go handle these kids, or the prisoners who had broke out. And so with him now handling it, Ryoko definitely was not that worried about it. And so now we see that while Kogani and Azuma, while they were like, trying to escape, they actually got surrounded. And then we had some guy with like this spear. And I will say that the powers of it, even though we did not see much, to me, all these Bubukis, they're like definitely awesome because we see him now make like some kind of force field that like pretty much forced all these men away. To me, that right there was awesome. And we see now, like this guy name is Hiragi. And so apparently he's like the leader of Kogani and those other people that we saw. And so apparently now this guy definitely doesn't like, Azuma, because he had called him a coward, because 10 years ago, Azuma ran away from Japan, and right now he is just coming back. But apparently this guy didn't run away. He was searching for the heart of the Obu, because if they find, Obu or bring him back, that right there will show everyone the truth of the world. Because Ryoko, she actually rewrote history where she made, Azuma's mother, she had wrote out history to where it would, show that, Azuma's mother was a monster and not some savior or protector that like she was supposed to be. So that right there is why Azuma was like searching for Obu for so long, because if he can show the world that, he can like clear his mother's name. And so eventually now we have our characters, going to like some kind of a convenience store, and so when they're like all together, we have them going to the Bubuki prison, and sadly we cannot see that because we have that guy who was like one of Ryoko's henchmen. He finally shows up, and we see now that out of nowhere Kogane, she actually just snaps, and we see her now trying to attack this guy, but him and his gun, it was like way too much for her. And so eventually he actually blew up that store. And I will say that like him walking out of that fire, to me, that right there was like probably my favorite scene of the episode. Like, I have no idea why I liked it. Maybe it was because the animation, it was like perfect then, because it just looks so freaking epic. But we see now that like all the characters had to escape, and we see now that not only can these Bubukis, fight pretty well, but they can also, give our characters like the ability to fly, because we see now that, Hiragi, he was like able able to actually glide down, safely. And then we have the other sword users, like they were like riding their swords, like they were actually witches, riding a broomstick. So maybe that right there could be a reference to the episode name. I'm not really sure, but to me, that right there was like definitely, very interesting. And so we see now that this guy, he was definitely, like not giving up on them. And we even see now that the one shot that he made, when he actually, shot it, and we see that blast, actually collide with the ground, that right there just open up so much area, you can tell that like there is some serious power behind it. And so we see now that this guy, he was definitely not going to, he was definitely not going to let our characters escape. And we see now that, Hiragi, he was like telling, Azuma to go, because obviously, Azuma is really the only one who could bring back Obu, because that right there is their goal. And so Hiragi is like, so we see now that Hiragi, he has no problem with dying, because I'm pretty sure there's no way, he could like beat this guy one-on-one. But then we see that this man was like definitely, not going to like even want them escape, because we have him, shooting at Azuma, but then we have Kogane actually absorbing the bullets from Bubuki. So that right there was like also very interesting. But now we see that, Azuma, he had kept on running, and eventually he does find, he actually does find Obu. But we see now that all was left of him was like his skeleton, all his skin, I'm guessing maybe his organs, they were all gone as well. So it is possible that these Buranki, or maybe Obu, it's a different compared to the others, because all these guys look like machines, but maybe Obu is definitely different compared to them. But overall, for our first episode, I definitely enjoyed it. To me, this right here, it's like another show that actually still out this season compared to the rest, just like Erased. But of course, let me know what you guys thought. Like I said, I loved it. I cannot wait to hear what you guys thought about it as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because it lets me out. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.